Welcome, you, yes, you, and you, welcome to Pardon My Vlog. It's Friday. That means it's another time for me to talk to you about things that you don't really care about, but I'm going to talk to you about anyway, because it's Pardon My Vlog. So, what's coming up? Well, Dan's back from his extended holiday over several weeks of vlogging. So, well, he's been back for a while now, but he's back to doing the regular show, so that'll be coming next week. This Sunday, I believe, we have a new show by a friend of the show, I suppose, and a friend of ours, Connor. He's got a new series coming up. I don't know that much about it. I'm kind of excited. Should be premiering this Sunday. I look forward to it. You may remember him from the Giant Woman episode of the Steven Universe Rewatch podcast. And on the note of the Steven Universe Rewatch podcast, I'm afraid we're nearing the end, friends. That's right. Once we hit the end of season 1, we're putting the show on hiatus for a little while. Don't know how long. Might be for a while, might be forever. Who knows? But we feel that has been long enough, that show. We need to take a break and do other things. So Dan is wanting to do a sort of more loose podcast where we just talk about general stuff. That should be fun. I always say before we record that we should just record the stuff we do beforehand because we can be quite funny there, which is surprising because we're not funny any other time. Also, my project is we're going to be doing a D&D campaign. Now, not everything's set in stone yet. I'm still writing it. We're a couple of weeks off having the first episode, but something along these lines is happening. Or you may call me a liar. So, we're hoping to use D&D 5th edition. I still need to check the legality of that. I don't know if they offer an open use thing and whether we can broadcast with that. I know other people have, particularly the Loading Ready Run guys. They did a really good campaign called Temple of the Lava Bears using 5th edition. I'll have to send off Wizards an email. I've been putting that off. I'm very lazy. That's my big thing coming up. I mean, that's going to be fun. I haven't DM'd in a while. I'm sort of done a lot of DMing. And, well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going for a kind of old school classic pulp feel to it, so like Conan, or I'm actually going more Fafhrd and the Grey Mouse review by Fritz Lieber, because those are really fun novels. And just sort of that kind of lighter tone than we get in a lot of modern fantasy, which is very heavy, which, you know, it depends how you feel, but I think this will be a sort of a little lighter adventure. I'm giving it that more classic fantasy feel, which I think some aspects of 5th edition are trying to do. One thing I really like in 5th edition is there's no meta magic item market like there is in Pathfinder, where characters can just buy magic items. There isn't even a crafting system yet, to be honest, which is a bit of a flaw, but you know, it's interesting. So we'll see where that takes us. I mean, I think it's an interesting system. We've played it before. This won't be our first time at this system's rodeo. I mean, I've been playing role-playing games for years now at this point, but this would be, I guess, our second 5th edition campaign. Yeah, we normally play Pathfinder because basically the rule set just works slightly better for us, and we've been doing it too long to change. The one thing in 5th edition that we really don't like is the advantage system, which I know a lot of people really like, which it does have its advantages, ironically. It does speed up combat immensely, and I know I hate this when Dan really does this, where he spends hours and hours on his combat turn trying to get every little advantage. He takes forever and ever. And then there's another player who we always game with called Ben, who will be in this coming campaign, hopefully. And he's just like, okay, I have this +1, this +2, this +3, this +2, this 1, going off for miles. And, oh, It's intimidating the number of pluses you can get, but it also allows you to really it allows you to really feel like you're gaining power from individual things. Whereas if it's just like you get advantage in this source and this source, well, the problem is, according to the word of God, if you have one disadvantage and a bajillion advantages, the disadvantage cancels out everything else. So yeah, fuck that. I really don't like that. But we're running with vanilla rules because this is a test. Hopefully, if this works well, I will move on to other campaign settings and well, other systems. This is a homebrew world I'm coming up with on the fly because I'm a fantasy writer and that's what I do. Because I just make stuff up. So maybe yeah. So let's sort of. I was going to talk about cartoons, but I'll talk about role playing instead. So my favorite system is the World of Darkness. I think that's a really nice system for gaming. It's a bit clunky in places. I find powers and such are kind of clunky and pointless, but that's the thing, they don't really matter. I actually like to run human games. No one else does, though. No one ever likes to play humans. It's not fun. I just think humans are the best things to play because you're the bottom of the pile and you can have real horror then. But sadly, I'm overruled when I do get people to play their vampires, normally. I haven't had a werewolf game. That would be fun because that's a very different dynamic. And we keep meaning to do a mage campaign, but the rules are very complex. I'm not a rules guy. People hate me for this, but I often just wing it and just like, whatever, this kind of makes sense. We'll retrofit it later if we need it up. Yeah, that's my favourite game to run is World of Darkness. Old World. New World is fun too, and some of the finicky sort of systems work slightly better. Like there's just a set DC for all rolls. 7 above is a success, whereas in Classic you can set a dice roll DC, then a pool DC, if that makes sense. Because the way it works is you have a pool of dice, D10s, and in Old World you have an internal DC, so let's say 6. No, well, let's go 5, so 50-50 chance on the die. So rolling over a 5 counts as a success. But then there's a pool, and you need to get above a certain number in the pool. So you need to roll, let's say, 3 die above 5. That's a bit, while it's sort of a nice adjustability, it's just kind of unnecessary, and with people that I play with, they get very large pools. So I will tell you about this one time. But in New World, it's just a set 7. But there is a reroll opportunity on a 10, which I generally ignore, because I think you have enough fucking dice. So, let me tell you about this one time we were playing World of Darkness. This was, years ago. I was in college. So, that's 4 or 5 years ago, maybe. I was running a combined world, old world game, sorry, combined new world game, where anyone could play whatever the hell they wanted. So we had one guy who was a human, another who was, then we had 2 vampires, and Promethean. He actually did a really cool character. I should have done more with his character. So anyway, Ben, as I mentioned before, playing a vampire, playing a sword fighter. The other vampire was played by Dan, and he was an archer. Because Dan plays stupid ideas sometimes. So Ben's character had this sword cane. He dumped loads of points into it, sort of the most you could at starting. I think he had a dice pool of 12, something ridiculously high. I threw this werewolf at them. Now this was a nerfed werewolf, because you really shouldn't be no one should be able to take on a werewolf unless they're ridiculously powerful. A single werewolf should be able to tear its way through your average party. And basically, Ben rolls up to this werewolf. Remember, it's nerfed. The specific thing I had was it had a collar of silver, so it was technically in a weakened state. So all things were bumped up by all damage types were bumped up by 2. I think I home ruled that. I can't remember. I didn't actually have the werewolf book at the time. I still don't. Anyway, so Ben runs up with his sword cane. He's this old Victorian gentleman, typically what he plays in Vampire. Swish, 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 with his sword cane, rolls 12 dice. Not a one hits. So we're in this situation where this werewolf has just crashed down, smashed and scattered the party. Ben's like, I'll save us. Runs up, whoosh, swish, swish, missed. Punch. Ben goes flying and hits the human. Oh, lands next to the human. This was, ex-police officer, lots of guns. Played by a good friend of mine who I really like it when he plays because he comes up with some. He plays really well but doesn't play very often, if that makes sense. So he ends up saving the vampire with his shotgun. It was a fun game and we never let Ben forget about it. Yeah, it was a fun game. And I had a lot of fun specifically scaring Ben because Ben likes to read into a lot of lore and sort of learn as much as he can about a thing. So I deliberately put in all these hints and tiny hints just for him. There was sort of the regular, this is the plot hint. Then there was the, hey Ben, look at this, Ben. Look at this. This is what's really going on. What else? We played a lot of Shadowrun as well. Mainly at my insistence because I like sci-fi. I want more sci-fi games. But they're more, we want to be wizards. I play a wizard actually at the moment, so I play a gnome. But he's not an illusionist. So what else? Yeah, I've done some. It's been a while since Shadowrun. What was the last Shadowrun? A long time ago. I always like to include funny stuff in my games. That's my biggest weakness. I always like to make people laugh in games, even when it's not thematically appropriate. Yeah, Shadowrun is a lot of fun. One game I really want to play, but A, can't get the books for, and B, I think I'd be the only one interested because I'm really interested in the setting, but the rules I haven't bothered to get my head around, like most games, is Eclipse Phase. Really weird transhuman thing. I like sci-fi games, but no one wants to play them. It's like I want to play Traveller. That looks really fun for a space opera, but no one wants to play. So yeah, D&D, that's coming soon. And basically my idea for this series is we'll do just a one-shot campaign. Each will be in its own little thing. It'll be edited into 1-hour episodes, with each episode going up probably on the Monday. I think we're going to alternate podcasts type thing, or I might put it in another day. Thursdays are always a good day. I think I put good updates on Thursdays. Yeah, we're still working out the logistics of it. I'm still working out the logistics. I think we're going to do the same thing we do with the podcast, where we record separately, bung it all to me, and then edit. I might also do live recordings of the Roll20 chat and window, because I'll be putting up maps and other stuff. Or I might take video feed from people. I don't know. It depends on what's going on. But, you know, if you have suggestions and comments for this, let me know, because I'd like more people's opinions. And I hope you look forward to that. See you soon.